Hi, I'm Rebecca Thompson Hitt, and I am here today with my colleague, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
So, we are here to talk about preparing for the Healing Story Circle weekend. So, we're really excited that you've decided that you want to do this. And we wanted to just talk about some things to think about now in preparation for the weekend. So, the first thing is that you have a story form that we have gotten to you, and we want you to really think about and fill out and return to us. That's just going to help us to know you a little bit better, to get some information, and also to help you think through some things so that you're ready for the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing we want you to do, and this will be on the story form as well, but start thinking about a support plan. So, what is it that you need to have in place to be able to be present? And so, thinking about like what your family might need. So, um, childcare, meals. So starting to think about that whole big picture. How will you do it? How will you go to a hotel? Will you have someone come in to help? Will they be with their other parent? Will yeah, what that can look like. Um, Thinking about food, which is always a big one of like if you have these breaks that aren't that long, do you want to be spending all your time preparing or do you want to have some things that are already prepared? um, and just thinking that like when you're doing it, when you get off the calls, you might not feel super like have a ton of energy to be giving out. So like you might not want to cook during that time, and you might need to do some things to fill you up a little bit. Am I
That's
missing
right.
anything?
Yeah, no, I think that was great. Depending upon the stage of parenting that you're in or the life phase that you're in and the people that you're considering, this is going to look radically different. If you are mothering a toddler, for example, and you're nursing, that's going to look different. What do you want your breaks to look like? Is there grandma or your partner or someone who can take that child out for a while? And are they okay? Depending upon the age, the stage, the temperament, it's really important that you really look at your family and what your family is going to need. Are there any additional layers of support that need to be brought in? If, say, your partner is taking the kids, and wow, that's a lot for your partner who doesn't usually do that. Can grandma come, or is there someone else that can come in as a layer of support? But in that food piece, even if you go to a hotel, really think about what do I need to have on hand, so that you don't have to take your 2-hour break. I mean, we have done, we've been very mindful about the amount of time that we're giving for breaks so that you can take care of your family if that's what you need to do, or you can take care of yourself, but it will go fast. So if you need to eat and you are tired and you need to take a nap, that might be your entire break. So really thinking through as much as you can ahead of time what you might need. If you think you want to take a bath and you're going to use that break for that, have the bath salts ready. Really just start thinking through what are you going to need? How do you want to care for yourself during this time?
Yeah, and I think that also goes into this plan B of like, okay, and if that doesn't work out, like, do you have a backup plan? How can you make, like if your plan is for your child to be in the other room with grandma, and then there's a whole meltdown, like how will you go about that? What can that look like? So really just thinking about like, what are the obstacles? Because you know your kids best. What are
Okay,
the
and your
obstacles?
family.
Yeah, right. What are the obstacles that show up a lot of times when you do things like this or when you have, so just thinking about them and starting to think about like, well, maybe I could do this, or so have some of those ideas ready.
That's right. That's such an important thing to think about now. So we actually ask you to fill that out on your story form so that you have listed out, just okay, let's think through this. What am I going to need? How am I going to do it? And we ask you to share that with us, because I'm sure at one point or another it will come up in our weekend, because this is something different. This is something that none of us have ever done before. So, like, you haven't had this experience before, so you're not sure exactly what it's going to look like. But that brings me to this next piece that's really important. And we want you to be as present as you possibly can be. So setting yourself up for, going back to our support plan, we really want you to figure out how you can be as present as possible. Now, if you're nursing a little baby, or if you have kids that need care, we get that. I've said that in other videos too. Turn off your video if you need to. Mute yourself. It's okay. But as much as you possibly can, set yourself up for a distraction-free 2 hours. Um, if you've got a new baby and you're nursing and the baby needs a new diaper, have someone on backup to help you so that you don't have to now go change the diaper, so that you can stay as present as possible. With that said, it's also about turning off, closing down all of the other windows, not having your email beep, turning your phone at least to vibrate, so that if you have family and you're on call, you've got little ones and they're out, so that you're available, but it's not distracting you. If you've got a do not disturb where only your partner would be able to get through, then turn that on. So you just want to limit your distractions as much as possible. And then the other piece of it is really figuring out where your boundaries are. So we were having a conversation a little bit ago about, Rachel has is he 12 or 13?
Well,
12-year-old, and he's going to be around while we do this healing story circle. So we were talking about, all right, well, what I tell him is that, only come if there's an emergency. And then she had to clarify. So you
yeah,
want to
like
share yours?
your emergency when your computer stops working is not an emergency for me. It's an emergent. It is an emergency for him. Like, it's real, and he's
Oh my
concerned.
God. Right, right. So clearly defining, like it might be, you say, all right, I don't want to hear from anyone unless there's blood. And then, your 4-year-old comes running in, look, I have a little cut on my finger. It's like, no, 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 no. We need to like clearly define. And especially for the people who are helping to care for children, if you have that situation, it's important for you to say, obviously if there's a medical emergency, please come and get me. But if my child is crying for more than a couple of minutes, for this child, that's too much, because it's going to take me a long time to help calm them down if we don't do it quickly. So what's your criteria? Where is your boundary? And how are you going to keep everybody healthy and safe? But how can you communicate what you need in that, so that it's not you're getting interrupted every 5 minutes because, oh, look, I got a little, oh, it's an emergency for me, oh, it's a, so really, where are your boundaries? And then making sure that you're communicating that clearly. So we really want to set you up to have the best weekend you possibly can. And so thinking about these things ahead of time will really, really help. Yeah. So if you have any questions, let us know. And we're looking forward to our weekend together.
See you soon.